social media platform, free, simply by registering at www.coolzone.ai. Minnesota Twin Cities genetic research machine learning robots can automate microinjection. You can join the next global AI giant ONPASSIVE to use and market the next generation AI tools. Simply register for free at www.coolzone.ai.
Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. As you can see, one of the partners in crime are with me. So get your fire extinguisher, I think. Okay. I'll get started. And what we wanted to talk about is talking to Mike. Well, I've talked to Mike 1,000 times, but recently was a couple of things. One was the numbers. I know it flips everybody out. And what I want to cross over to is the limits of ONPASSIVE and how every aspect of ONPASSIVE is unlimited. And I want to compare it to where I've been. I had figured out yesterday or last night why, I don't know, but I was in about 100 different businesses 15 years before I got here. Many of those with Mike and Dan, but a lot of them. And the reason I'm saying is they never lasted long enough. And it wasn't because of me. It wasn't because of Mike. A lot of times, or most of the time, it was a few things. One is they weren't built to go long term. In fact, I think deliberately. Can't prove that, but I think they get in, they make a flash of money. They have a few people at the top. Maybe they're buddies, maybe they're not. I can't say that, but I see the same people in different businesses every 6 months. I could be wrong, but use your imagination. So they do something that's quick. It's not meant to run a long time, and it dies. Well, what does that do to the other 98% that don't know the system? They don't know how to build. They don't even have a chance, because even if they did, won't give up and will go. What happens is that even if they get one or two and maybe they stayed in, the company's done. So they're discouraged. Their list is now getting smaller. And you say, well, why would that be? Because their list is friends and family. They're only going to do this a few times. I've had people follow me a couple different ones, family, so-called family and friends. And then after that, they're like, we don't want no parts of that. Keep it, And they always have to say, are you making money? Well, a little bit. Well, I'm not going to be able to do it. It's nightmare. Just let me tell you that. And ONPASSIVE, and this is beautiful, it's unlimited. Everything's unlimited. I remember even talking to Mr. Mufara. He would go in and ask the same questions, but he's looking at a bigger scale. He's going to build whatever company it was. He's going to build a system for that company, because he knows how to maximize their pay plan. He's told what it is. He looks at it. He looks at the products. He looks at what he has to do. He finagles some kind of system and off to the races. Okay. And I mean, off to the races. Hold on one second. Let me shut this off, because that's not going to stop. I shut it off. And he'd go off to the races, right? So, but even in those businesses, what he didn't like, he didn't like it, because that's not the way it is in ONPASSIVE. Everything in ONPASSIVE is totally the opposite of the MLMs, because he got rid of the limits. He would max out the pay structure, and now he's making very good. He's made millions, no doubt about it. He would give the system to people that were in his team, and he said about 2% used it. And you say, why would they do that? That's people. It is. We've had hundreds of people. I want to do what you want to do. Okay, you start showing, they go, I ain't doing that crap. It's just the way it is. People don't want that. So, and the longer he would go in a business, guess what? He's still making money for the company, but he's limited. He's already at a plateau. He's done. He's doing other stuff. Now, Ash did many things. He's invented many things that we don't even know about. But just giving you an idea. So he comes in non-passive and he says, well, when I got in, I asked, uh, is there a limit? I went to the same thing. Can anybody do it? Because that was important. Yeah. Uh, what's the limit on what you can make? It's unlimited. Are you kidding? Is there an auto ship? No. Are they selling freaking widgets? What do you mean by that? Are they trying to sell you something that nobody wants? Is it in high demand? That's all I want to know. Yes. Physical, not, they didn't say physical then because they didn't know. Digital products, high demand. People are using these type products today. I was happy as a lark. So we got in. I got in, Mike got in, Dan got in. Boom, boom, boom. Now, when we got in, you start, and I'm going to give an example of ONPASSIVE to me and everything else, and why ONPASSIVE is going to be great for you from my experience. As time went on, and it was evolving into what we know today. Ash didn't know when I got in that it was going to evolve to where it is today. But his mind was going there. He wanted to go where we are now, but the time period might have been a lot longer because he would have done it more in steps. But anyway, as it went, every month that went by, every 6 months, every year, we focused on, and I'm going to speak for Mike and Dan too, but we focused on what we could do and had faith in what they're doing. And I mean, they're Mr. Mufaro, the team, whatever, because we have no control over it. And we would build and we would go and we had a crystal ball that we made. Sometimes it didn't work very well, but we looked at the pieces of what are going together and we're going, oh, the wind's blowing north by northwest latitude. Here's where we're going. And we were very fortunate because we figured we were pretty good at it. No doubt about it. Maybe I'm being arrogant. I'll be arrogant just for a couple minutes. We had a pretty good guess of where we're heading. That the success we're heading to is monumental. The only thing that changed during those 5 years is it's bigger and better than I thought. And every month that went by, it got bigger and better than I thought. And this sounds totally hypey and MLM, get in, I'm just telling you from my experience. I could never imagine myself going in a company and doing what I want to do, spending hours in it, working with people, and make nothing for 5 years. Until ONPASSIVE came. And the reason is, if you go and you're in touch and you're plugged in, and this beast is doing what it's doing, it's alive, by the way. This ONPASSIVE is a life of its own. And I'll give you an example. What made Ash shift gears a decade or so, or 5 years, 10 years, 7 years, is the amount of change that's happening. While he would be, and this is my personal opinion, and he touched on it, I'll try to be as accurate as I can. While he's building this business to maintain and to help 50,000 people, that wasn't what it was at first. I bet it was probably 10,000, if that. When he's going there and he's working on that, he's got 100,000 people in the business. Why? Crazy people like me, Mike, and Dan, and other people who saw this for what it is. Boom. Now you get his mind going. I know it's dangerous. Sorry, Ash. That now he says, wait a minute. He had his people come back to him and say, hey, what you want to do is great 5 months ago. We can't do for that big. Okay. We'll get a building. We'll move and he started building. He went from Calcutta to another place and then Hyderabad, right? We know that story. But that's happening through the evolution of ONPASSIVE. That first company that me, Mike, and Dan saw could have launched a long time ago. Thank the Lord above it didn't. Thank the Lord above it. And that concept, even, I felt, I know Mike and Dan, they'll let them talk for themselves. I felt we're going to max it out. There's no doubt in my mind. I really believe whatever it is, we'll max it out. And then I heard about infinity, and I'm like, well, what the frick? Maybe we won't, but we're going to do very well. So time goes on, and this, between me, my opinion, a greater power got involved. He saw that good-hearted people are joining, and as everything else in the world ever, in my belief, a human or people will use these tools to make a difference. God doesn't come down and you see all these big flashes in the pan. That's not him, right? He doesn't do that. But he'll use someone that is worthy and strong enough and has the backbone and is a good-hearted person like Mr. Mafar and say, okay, he's the one. I'm going to go inside him and say, you know that step you wanted to take? Take it. And when he got that step, he said, Ash was thinking to himself, do I open that next door? Do I open the next one? Do I stop? Or do I... No, go ahead. And what happened? We went from June or July of 2020, we had 100,000 people. That next year, we picked up over 1 million. Okay. So this plant, now Ash knows I have the people. I have good people. Yeah, you got a couple of weeds in there, so you pick the weeds, you got a nice garden, right? I mean, you got a nice, okay, there's weeds everywhere. But we have actually pushed the weeds aside too, because the core of this company is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And he said it, the power of the company is the people. So what happens then when he goes to share this business? You go through some people and they're not good enough. I don't know names, I don't know whatever, but they're not quite at the level of what Ash wants, let's just say. Now look what happened. Look in the last 6 months, a year. Go back to Kamal, a couple of years. But from then on, he starts getting massive, very talented people on his side. Things have grown, but guess what? That side needs to beef up. It needs to be able to handle this side. And listen, I don't know about you, but I believe God has a sense of humor. So he's watching this going, well, what's he going to do here? And he did it, whatever it was. I'm making a joke out of it, but I mean that. So he starts building this workforce of very gifted people. Not Ronald McDonald, not, Mr. Potato Head. We're talking about people that weren't looking for a job. Now, why did they come? Because they saw Ash. They heard him. They know his belief. They know that he walked the walk. They're learning now, even when there was a problem with the merchants and they gobbled up and held money. And it could be 50, 60, 70 million dollars. I don't know. But I know this. There was $37 million in bonuses to be paid out. And they had that and some. Okay, so it could have been a lot more, but we don't know. That doesn't matter. But during that time, normal company, normal CEO. And I love saying that Ash is crazy and he's not normal, because his crazy, not normalness is going to change the world in a good way. And I'm part of it. Mike's part of it. Dan's part of it. You're all part of it. I'm so happy over that. But the point is, when he did all this and he's building this monster, everything he did in it, even the foundation, I wondered it sometimes a year ago. I know I'm just talking here, but nobody's coming on after us. And I feel like talking. So anyway, even after that, he built this monster foundation. He didn't build a normal foundation. He just kept building a foundation, a foundation, a foundation. Branding, foundation, branding, foundation. We ain't sold squat. Now, when you start to get the picture, because I'm plugged in, I'm living it, I breathe it, I drink it, I'm ONPASSIVE. Mike's the same way. There's a lot of you are the same way. So when that's happened, we've had discussions, me and Mike and Dan even. Man, what the freak? In with the supercars. He does signing stuff over with Egypt, getting Dr. Tarek on his team, getting Professor Susan, Kamal, Nazel. Why? Do you really need all that? You do when you walk into a camera and you say to a million people, dream bigger. You have to have that foundation. He's learning this as he goes. He knew the picture started coming clear. I'm going to go all out. I'm going to go unlimited. And of course, if he's going to go unlimited, everything in the company is going to go the same way. That's what he did. So now here we go with unlimited everything from unlimited potential money. And I mean that. And I've said this, and this is what I mean. This is my opinion, strong opinion. Amazon made 40,000 millionaires. People, the breath goes away, jaw hits the floor. They weren't trying to do that. It was a byproduct of a huge company that threw out a few crumbs, and the crumbs added up to a lot, obviously. Now, take a company that wants everybody to be financially independent, abundantly financially independent, not worry about money, get what you want. And why did he want that? Not only did he say he wanted us, if you need to change your zip code, you need to do something with a car, you need to do something with the travel, you need fill up your pockets, fill up your gas tank. He also knows, and it was embedded into the business, now I'm going to work on your heart. You have enough, you got what you wanted, you're satisfied. But the people I drew together were people with heart. Now, what are you going to do with the extra abundance? You're going to change the world. And that's where the unlimited goes. I've had people say, I don't have anything back. I don't have a team. You have no freaking idea what you have. Let me get that straight right now. Nobody in ONPASSIVE knows what they have. Do I know what I have as people personal? Yes. I don't know what I have. I'm telling you right now, I have no idea. I stopped thinking about it. When you saw this massive thing developing, and these walls went down, and I realized I'm not on an acre lot. I'm on a country. I'm on a planet of ONPASSIVE. It's unlimited. You stop focusing on the little things. You just and if you are focused on the little things, you don't realize how much you have ahead of you and around you. So try to do that. But when we talk about money, Mike will get into this more because he enjoys it. I'm worried about making a mistake. I don't want to say anything to jeopardize the company, but we're going to give you potential. There's something we know that I just want to tap on. We know you're going to get 25% from everybody personally that you personally have. Now, remember, organically, you're going to get people. My opinion, millions of people will join ONPASSIVE just because of what we have. And word of mouth, millions. My opinion, no doubt about it. And I can tell you why after Mike talks. Millions are going to come in. I think that organically, I mean, just boom, you in, I'm in, you're in, you're in, you're in. That's going to happen. You could call it traffic. You could call it targeted. You call it whatever you want. Your team, my opinion, is going to grow organically. Then on top of that, too many people got the mind something to get free. No, it's not free. You're in, we're working, we talk to each other, we're building this business around the world. Free is not when Mr. Collins calls me and says, you're going to have a webinar in Belgium. That's not free. He worked at it. He took his time. He got the people together. We're working because he wants to. That's working the business if you want. It's what he wants to do. And we all have a chance to do whatever we want to do. But you meet people and you're going, oh my God, this is, and you realize it's bigger than I thought. It's bigger than I thought. I'm better. Now, Ash is sitting at the top of this thing, whatever altitude he's at. And the reason he's smiling and jumping around, because he knows we're just looking at the tip of the iceberg. He knows we don't know what's under the water. He knows behind the curtain number 3, we don't know what it is. And he knows we're guessing, we're trying to figure it out. And he's laughing because he's going, you don't know. Look, I'm a crazy son of a gun. There's no doubt about it. I think crazy. I go as far as I can. Everything I did. ONPASSIVE is a playground for me because it's crazy too. But he told me you might know 5%. What a kick in the butt, right? But it also makes you go, oh man, because I'm already imagining. I'm so far gone and imagining and talk to Mike and people privately because I don't want to cause any issues with the company and say some kind of hype thing. But that's where I'm at. I believe 40,000 millionaires is a freaking joke. I would think that on a bad in a bad couple of years, bad lowest, we'll have a 500,000 millionaires. Now that's over 10 times what they have. And I know people are going, oh my God, people watching, oh, he's so full of crap. Walk the walk I did, be plugged in, look at what's coming. I want you to picture something. Amazon doesn't create squat. They're moving products from point A to point B. And then an affiliate can get in and move the same stuff they're moving from point A to point B. They're not building anything. Now picture this. You own a product that is a unicorn company product. It's a $1 billion business all by itself. And you're a small, fortunate few that get to share in the revenue. Now times that times 100. Figure it out. You go get a calculator. I don't know how many zeros that is. I don't know what it's going to be, but I know the potential is unlimited. And you need to know it's unlimited. I went to the Belgian webinar. Beautiful people there. Shout out to Belgium. You guys are amazing. Bunch of young people, really beautiful people too. I'm like, what the freak, man? I must be in the ugliest freaking city in the world. I'm just kidding. But the point is, I went there and they had great questions. The one lady said, hey, look, I have a product that I absolutely love. I absolutely love it. Her arms were folded. She was tense. She's got to watch this guy, Marty Degarmo. What's he going to do? And what I told her was, I was happy to answer that. Those are my questions. God gave me a softball, right? She said, I said, well, let me tell you something. Obviously, you love this. Yes, it works. I've had this, I've had that. Even Collins told me about this product afterwards to let me know how passionate she is. I said, I want you to picture something. It's a legit product, it's good, and you love it. And you can do, let's say, a testimonial with you and a couple other people. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And you make that little video. Create comes out, you make a little page, and at the bottom of the page, you have a link, maybe a domain, something you want to call it, get well soon, I don't know, .com. And people come in and they see it. And you're in Rodeo Drive. And we're not Rodeo Drive yet. You're on Main Street. And you go by all these stores, virtual, by the way. And there's 2 million people, 3 million people that could go by daily. Wow, that's amazing. I can't imagine it. 3 million people walking by my store. Now picture 30 million, 300 million. Your store is still there. Now picture, because of a passion you have, everybody you bring into that store to sell them that product that you love and you have proof that it worked. And they say, well, I want to sell this too. Well, let me think about it. You don't have to think about it. I'm just saying that. When they say, I want to do it too, you go, great. Here's what you need to do. No, I don't want you to go out and go after your friends and family, fake it till you make it, get 500 no's on a phone call. Bite me. That is bull crap. Anybody that gives you a nursery rhyme in MLM, the ending is not good. Okay, we all fall down should be the ending. But the point is, when she tells them, I said, here's what you're going to do. They're coming in and you'll have a few people say, I'd like to be a distributor of this product. Okay, here's what you need to do. Now, by the way, everybody that came in to look at your product, they're not part of your organization. So you tell them, okay, here's what you're going to do. You get them in a meeting. What meeting? Oh, Connect. Why? Because you own it. And you're going to get paid to use it. Like, oh, freak. Now, they're all in there. They all own it, so you're getting paid for that too. And everybody they invited to that business are getting paid because they use O Connect. You tell all of them, here's what I want you to do. I want you to make a video with some testimonials. Make a page on OCreate with a call to action and do what I did. First time in the history of the last 50 years of any business online, it's duplicatable. First time ever. So now the lady that came in a month after you got started, she is now building what? She's building multiple streams of income under one roof. Unlimited. And I don't want to keep going because I'm starting to sweat and I want to save time for Mike. But I just want you to listen. I always say, I'm not here to motivate you. I don't believe in motivation. Motivation is Amway. You get in, you're hyped. Then you get home and realize you can't do any of the things they just told you to do. Inspire you to think of what you have. Just get in and remember something. The only limitation in ONPASSIVE is about 4 inches. It's between your ears. If you can believe, you can conceive, and it will happen because you're always 100% right. If you believe you can, you can. If you believe you can't, you won't. Here's Mike Ellis. Mike, be kind.
No, Marty, that was very, very good. I enjoyed listening to all of that, and one of the things you said is just so appropriate. And what you said, it's alive, and that is ONPASSIVE. It's alive. If you've seen that movie, you know where that comes from. But when you look at ONPASSIVE, not only is it alive, you can't kill it. It's done. It's going to go forever. And I got a little I got a little worried when I saw the title of Marty's of this live, and it's about the numbers. And of course, the first thing that went through my mind is this is the day I get terminated. But I'll try and stay in the lines. But really, the reason we're coming on and talking about the numbers is just to get those out of the way. Once you understand what ONPASSIVE has done and is doing right now today, you won't think about the numbers anymore. So I'll I'll go over the numbers and I'll go with the things we know, and then from that we'll go into assumptions. And all the numbers that I'm going to be giving you, they're what we think. We don't really know how it's going to play out. And you'll understand that as I go through them. But we know today that Mr. Mufareh has $38 million that's coming back from the merchants that he's going to distribute to the affiliates. Excuse me, guys. We know that. Now, that $38 million is at 25%. Okay, here's where the assumptions start to come in. We don't know exactly what that $38 million is, okay? It could be the 25%. If it is, the amount of money that Mr. Mufareh is getting back from the merchants is massive. It's massive anyway. But let's just assume that that 38 million is around 48% of what ONPASSIVE has brought in. Okay. And again, that's an assumption that ONPASSIVE is going to pay out 45% of the amount of money they bring in to the affiliates. Okay. Again, we're just assuming things. And if we assume that only 75% of the people came in, the affiliates came in and bought OConnect, that's where that money came from, then we can extrapolate from that ONPASSIVE will be bringing in about $85 million from the merchants. Excuse me, guys. A little bit of a head cold, but that's okay. I'll get through it. So we're assuming that not only is ONPASSIVE bringing in the 38 million, but they're bringing in really 85 million, and a lot of that goes to ONPASSIVE, a lot of that goes to the affiliates. Those are all assumptions, but I think they're pretty close, give or take. If we bring in the other 25% that come in and buy OConnect, all of a sudden, the amount of money that ONPASSIVE is bringing in monthly is around $100 million. That's a pretty good chunk of change. And that's one product. That's OConnect. And you have to understand, they did this in about 2 weeks. That's why all the problems came into play. They did this so quickly that everybody said, no, that's impossible. No company can do that. And of course, ONPASSIVE is not just another company, and they did do that. So when we start to assume what's happening with an ONPASSIVE with one product and everybody buying is $100 million. Now, we know right behind that, again, these are the numbers that I believe are going to be happening very, very quickly. We know that right behind that, there are going to be 4 other products coming in, right? Now, we don't know what they're going to charge for these products, but let's just assume it's going to be $100 a product. So instead of $100 million coming in, now we've got $500 million coming in. And if ONPASSIVE shares 45% in commissions to the affiliates, it's $225 million. That's a month. I'm not talking about a year here, guys. That's a month if we have a monthly fee for those. When you start to think about that, you start to think about your position, you start to think about what ONPASSIVE is going to be doing for you. And again, we don't know how the commission is going to be structured or how it's going to flow. We know the 25% is set in stone, but after that, we don't know what the corporate volume is going to be like and how it's going to be distributed, but it's going to benefit everybody. Okay. That's the easy part. That's what's happening right now. That's what could be happening with 1 million people in ONPASSIVE, 1 million accounts, 5 products, 500 million a month. Now, when we listen to Mr. Mufareh, we know that he believes over the course of the first year, and I think this is very, very conservative, that 100 million people are going to come into ONPASSIVE, 100 million accounts. Right now, we've got 1 million. Now, think about 100 million, okay? 100 million with one product, OConnect, $100 account. What is that number? This is where the numbers get so crazy that you can get to a point where you can't even comprehend them. But understanding that they're going to get that big, you don't have to worry about the numbers. You can just set them aside. So 100 million people, $100, that's 50. And I have to look at the number because every time I look at it, it just blows me away. It's $10 billion a month. Okay. Now we go with 5 products, 100 million people. It's $50 billion a month. 5 products. Okay. Now you extrapolate those 5. This is just 5 products, guys. We're going to have over 50 products. But when you extrapolate that 5 products over a year time, it's $600 billion. Now, I can't even wrap my mind around that figure. Again, this is all speculation. If we just extrapolate things using some very simple figures, and we don't know what the cost of the products are going to be. Some are going to be 100, some are going to be more than 100, some are going to be less than 100. But just $100 per product, 5 products over the course of the year, $600 billion. Right there, we don't need to go any further than that, period. We just don't need to do it. And that's, yeah, absolutely crazy. Now you insert that 50 product number in there. Just insert it in there. And again, the number that comes up, you can't comprehend that number. But if we use the same extrapolation with 50 products, 100 million people over the course of the year, what do you think that number is? Now, there are no companies in the world that make this kind of money. Not a one, not even Apple. The largest company in the world today does not make the number that I'm going to throw out to you. Okay? 50 products, 100 million people over the course of the year. It's over $6 trillion. Okay? That's 100 million accounts. We've got 5.6 billion people in the world, everybody trying to do digital transformation. Do you think we're going to stop at 100 million accounts in ONPASSIVE? No. It's going to go to 100 to 200 to 300 to 400 to 500 million accounts within ONPASSIVE. And then when you put that number in there and extrapolate it out, I don't even want to talk about that number. All I'm doing here is giving you the understanding of what ONPASSIVE is doing. Marty's already talked about the unlimited ability of ONPASSIVE. This shows you it is unlimited. And what you can do within ONPASSIVE, Marty's absolutely right. It depends on what's between your ears, what you can think, because you can literally do anything within ONPASSIVE. You know, Marty talked about that young lady that talked about her business. And I'm thinking, I'm going, you know, she could do this using ONPASSIVE and make $1 million by accident, total accident. And that doesn't include what ONPASSIVE is going to bring to the table. So when you start to think about the numbers of ONPASSIVE and all the numbers that I've gone over, remember, always remember. In the AI IT area, artificial intelligence and informational technology products, all of those products, all the revenue that comes in goes through the affiliates, you and I, all of it. Now, how much of that is Mr. Mufar going to give to it? He's already told us. He's going to give us as much as legally possible. Is it 45%? I don't know. Could it be 50%? Could be. Could it be 55? Could be. Could it be 35? I don't know. Whatever that number is, when you start to extrapolate from where we are right now, 38 million in the bank, and understand that it's much, much more than that because ONPASSIVE's money is in there too. And then you start to distribute that to the affiliates, through the commissions, through the bonus structure, through the corporate volume. All of a sudden, you get to a point where you understand, yeah, I'm going to be fine. And then it takes me to a place in Africa, Cameroon. And this just blows me away. An individual in Cameroon, and the tech guys shared this with us. And when I heard it, I was flabbergasted. They can make $500 a month and live like royalty. I mean, literally royalty. They can have a mansion. They can have servants. They can have all the cars they want. They can do whatever they want to do. And then I think about the numbers of ONPASSIVE and what's going to be happening to these individuals that want to come in and just make $200. And my response to that is, can that happen? Yeah, that's going to happen for you. But what's going to happen after that, you can't stop, because you're not going to just make $200, in my opinion. You're going to make $2,000, and then it's going to be $5,000. And this is monthly. And when that happens to an individual who can live like royalty on $500 a month, think what happens when they make $1,000 a month, or $2,000 a month, or $5,000 a month. Now they can change that country, because it's just not one person in that country. because I believe over time, most of that country is going to come into ONPASSIVE because of the genius behind the structure of ONPASSIVE and what Mr. Mufara has done. So hopefully this doesn't get me terminated, guys. It's just speculation from that 38 million that we know is there and what could happen over the course of the next few months and the next year. I believe ONPASSIVE will have way more than 100 million accounts in ONPASSIVE. And then when you start to extrapolate the numbers with even more than 100 million accounts, it just gets to a place where my mind can't comprehend it. I can look at the numbers as abstract things, but these are not abstract. These are real things that are going to be happening within ONPASSIVE, and it's going to benefit each and every one of us. So hopefully these numbers help you just put the numbers aside, put it behind you. And that's why Marty, Dan, and I, that's why Mr. Mufara, we don't really think about the numbers anymore. I mean, it's fun to do the exercise. I did this morning, and I just had to stop because it was getting ridiculous. But the numbers, they're there, they're real, they are going to be happening, in my opinion, and you can put them aside. ONPASSIVE, it is the real deal. It is alive, and it's not going anywhere. Marty, go ahead and take it from there. Hopefully those are okay.
Fantastic. That's right. It's alive. I saw that movie when I was a kid. Yeah, we were just trying. Listen, once again, as a disclaimer, we are two gentlemen that happen to be in ONPASSIVE for over 5 years. We read tea leaves, ONPASSIVE tea leaves, and we're pretty good at it. Do we know everything? No, absolutely not. I don't want to know. What we could do is look at what's happened, look at what we do know, and then move it around a little bit. And like I said, it was our opinion, but I believe everything that we said could happen. I really do. I believe more than likely it will happen. But, and like Mike said, when you know that the numbers don't even make sense, like they're beyond, stop thinking about it. We're going to be fine. When 99% of the people on ONPASSIVE, life-changing at $500 a month, what impact are we going to make as a company? I can't wait. And all of you, we're all going to do very, very well. Part of the reason myself, Mike, and Dan are even here and stayed here is because we saw for the first time in our lives that anything we did, anything we built straight across, all of that, we believed indirectly would help many, 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 many other people. And Mike with the videos, he did it knowing it's going to go way beyond whatever we do for our so-called team. It was to help everyone. We've done that from the beginning. We mean what we're doing. Dan Street is exactly the same way. And most of you are that way. That's why we all get along. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for being here. It was powerful. Mike wants to say one more thing. This is the part where we're going to jail. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
we get in trouble here, but Marty sparked so many things. Listen, understand, Marty, Dan, and I, we've been doing this for a good 20 years. Really, when you look at when we started and how long we've been doing this, we understand what we're doing. And when we have the opportunity to come into ONPASSIVE and listen to Mr. Mufara and actually be in front of Mr. Mufara while he talked to all three of us, we understood what we had. And then as Mr. Mufara talked more and more, not only to us, but to all the affiliates, because of the experience we've had, we knew what was happening. It's not a question, did we think we knew? We knew what was happening. This is 5 years ago, guys. This is why Marty, Dan, and I have been so excited for the last 5.5 years. We knew what was going on five and a half years ago. And as Mr. Mufara changed his vision, we saw his vision. It's not that we made it up. We saw his vision, and we projected that out through ONPASSIVE. So when you come in and you listen to Marty, when you listen to Dan, when you listen to me, or you listen to Red or Chris, understand this is no longer speculation for us. The numbers are, because they're going to fluctuate. ONPASSIVE is not speculation. We know what's going to happen, period. I can tell you what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks. Now, I'm going to let Mr. Muffar do that, and we're going to see it in person because it's happening right now. But when you come in and you listen to Marty, or you listen to Dan, or you listen to some of these other affiliates in ONPASSIVE, it's not speculation anymore. You can take this stuff to the bank. And when you have that assurance, man, you ought to wake up with a smile because things are going to be happening, and they're happening right now. That's it. I could go on for another hour, Marty, but I get pumped up when, I mean, this it's now. It's happening right now. It's not a year down the road. It's not a month. It's now. So go ahead, Marty. I won't say anything more.
No, that's good. I love it. I just got to be careful because I might say more too. No, but the point is, and remember, all the fences that we build up around our minds and our body and our belief and what is possible, ONPASSIVE has destroyed them.
Yep.
As far as you can see here and here, you can go. If you're having a problem seeing any farther than a 2-mile radius, you need to work on that. You're not in the right place here. Get there, get right, find out what you have. At least, listen, even the minimum, if you're really good at figuring out what we have in ONPASSIVE, it will cause sleepless nights, trust me. But we're going to have a lot of fun. We're here to help everyone. I hope, from a show of hands, please, did this inspire you at all on this Sunday morning? Because that would make me feel good. Give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, don't say anything, okay? I don't need that. Anyway, 400 people today, Mike. Not bad for a Sunday.
It's a good Sunday, Marty. Because every Sunday's good.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris couldn't make it, guys. His family's leaving, and he wanted to say goodbye to him and all that. I understand. He'll be back tomorrow with me.
Now, in reality, we all know that Chris is out on his boat and he's fishing.
Yeah. No.
He's
Worse
fishing.
than that. He's with Ashman Bar fishing and drinking pina coladas. I'm joking. Yeah,
that would be awesome.
Yeah. Oh, you got a lot of thumbs up.
Good.
How many of you, with a show of hands, think Mike's going to jail? I'm just kidding. All right, I'll see you all. Thank you very much. Thank you.